Here's 3 unexpected things I encountered since moving to Canada. Number 1, the sheer size of the vehicles here. Now, everyone always says, oh, the trucks are really cool in Canada. I was not prepared. I was not prepared for how big these vehicles are. Now, obviously, I work on farms, so we use trucks a lot, and we need big trucks. But as a 5'2" person, who I will say is vertically challenged, yeah, getting in and out of them is kind of embarrassing. I either have to do that awkward, like, slide and a little boop when I get out of them, or I have to kind of take a run up and really haul myself in them if they don't have running side steps. Yeah, so massive vehicles. You cannot prepare for how big the vehicles are. Number 2, the amount of gaps around doors. I've done a video about this before, but my god, if you are a shy public peer like I am, don't go when it's busy, because you're going to be making eye contact with people through the gaps in those doors. It's not just public doors that don't seal all the way around properly. The ones in your home might not as well. Like, look at these 3 doors. Look. Like, why do we need a gap that big? Why? I mean, on the plus side, it does mean that your house gets plenty of ventilation, which is probably why they're there, to be honest, but it just seems really odd. Finally, caravans. We were not expecting so many caravans and for it to be so popular here. Literally, any time there's a long weekend, or a bank holiday, or a public holiday, there's just caravans just appear. And they're really cool, the caravans here. They're not like the weird beige, cream, boring looking things in the UK. They're like badass here. You know, and they're huge as well. They're just massive. They're like freaking homes with wheels. And yeah, was not expecting caravanning to be so popular here. Here's 3 more unexpected things I've encountered since moving to Canada. Number 1, the fact that you guys can bulk buy pretty much everything. In the UK, bulk buying isn't that common. And if you do want to bulk buy, you usually have to go to a specialist store. And a lot of the time, you can't access those stores unless you are actually a registered business. And as we all know, bulk buying actually works out a lot cheaper, and it's a lot easier, especially if you're cooking for a larger number of people, like if you have a family, etc. Now obviously we're only 2 people, so I don't need to bulk buy that often, but for the stuff that we use a lot of, like coffee, flour, rice, pasta, being able to buy a huge fuck off bag of it is brilliant, because it just means I don't have to buy it as regularly, and it's just one less thing to worry about. And it's not just the staples, it's things like ketchup, hot sauce, barbecue sauce, you know, anything. I can buy it in huge bulk. I can buy giant ass bags of potatoes that will last me for weeks and weeks and weeks, and I absolutely love it. So the second thing that was really unexpected is the fact that you can turn right on a red light in Canada. That really freaks me out. It still freaks me out, and I'm still not very good at doing it. So in the UK, a red light means you don't go. And you don't go full stop. You do not drive through a red light, otherwise you will get a ticket. And now if you get a ticket, it ain't no joke, because you get points, and if you have enough points, you lose your license. Whereas here, if there's a red light and it's clear to do so, you can turn right, which freaks me out. So there's been a lot of times where I've been in town and sort of sat there and I'm like, I know I can go, but I really don't want to. And if there's no one behind me, I don't, because I don't want to go. But I am still getting used to that, and that one really freaks me out, and it still does at the moment. And third and finally, you guys actually support your farmers. I was blown away yesterday when I was listening to the radio at work, and they were talking about how harvest has started for most people, and it's starting for some, which means that there's going to be a lot of farmers on the road in big machinery. So there was a police constable or someone like that from the local town warning people and saying, look, if you see the big machinery, pull over and let them pass. Give them priority, particularly on the back roads. And honestly, in the UK farmers do not get any support from the population. There are small pockets of people that understand how important farmers are, but as a whole, you don't really get any support. You wouldn't even get so much as a little tiny blip in the newspaper to say farmers are harvesting, you know, don't get in the way of them. But yeah, it's amazing. Well done, Canada. You guys are really supporting your farmers. And I know there are going to be some farmers in the comments saying, oh no, Canada doesn't support its farmers, blah, blah, blah. Trust me. Coming from a country that doesn't value its farmers, it's amazing how much better it is here for farmers compared to back home. So, well done, Canada. Good job. 3 more unexpected things I've encountered since moving to Canada. Sales tax. So, when you go into a shop in the UK, the price that's on the tag is the price you pay. Whereas Canada, the price that's on the tag is not including sales tax, which means when you get to the till and you get rung up, it costs a lot more than you were expecting. And it really bugs me because once you've experienced sales tax included on the price tag, it's kind of annoying. I'm not gonna lie. It kind of bugs me. And once you've experienced it like the UK version, you're just like, it's such a better system. Why isn't that a system? I don't know why it's not included on the tag here. I don't know if there's a reason for it, but it's odd and I don't like it. Ketchup flavored everything. Canadians, I'll give it to you. When you like something, you really go hard on it. Like you like it to the max. You guys put ketchup flavoring on everything. Ketchup flavored chips. Ketchup coated nuggets, like with a powdered ketchup flavoring thing on it. It's bizarre, and I guarantee people will order those and then dip those nuggets in ketchup. Like, go hard or go home, you know? I did see a video of ketchup ice cream, which I don't think that would be right, but I haven't tried it, so I can't comment. But, yeah, you guys, like, gotta hand it to you. You guys really like your ketchup. Like, really like your ketchup. Iced tea. I did not expect iced tea to be so popular. Now, everyone knows us Brits are partial to a cup of tea, but iced tea never really kicked off in the UK, at least as far as I'm aware, where I'm from. You couldn't really find iced tea, so I've never really had it. But when I came to Canada, every gas station, every, like, supermarket, every store, basically, that sells cold drinks, iced tea will be there. And not just, like, 1 or 2 flavors. Like, there's so many different flavors of iced tea. I didn't know this whole world of iced tea existed. And you know what? I tried some and I love it and it's amazing on hot days. It's so refreshing. So refreshing. And like, it's the perfect drink when it's really hot because it's not all gassy and it's just delicious. And I am so here for iced tea now. Absolutely love it. And I've always got iced tea in the fridge now because I love it. Here's 3 more unexpected things I've encountered since moving to Canada. Canning and preserving. Canning and preserving things seems to be a heck of a lot more popular here. And it's also sort of more normalized. Like, you can go into any supermarket and they will have, like, canning stuff there. I don't know if this is just a seasonal thing. Obviously, I haven't been here in the winter yet, so I can't say. But it seems to be super popular, and I've totally got into it, and I absolutely love it. And the best part is, it's actually a bit more affordable here. So, in the UK, if you wanted to buy a jar like this, it would be quite expensive and you couldn't buy them in bulk, and it would mean that it kind of isn't worth it unless you really get into it. Whereas here, I bought like 15 of these jars and it was actually really cheap. They were only like just over $1 a jar, which I'm like, it's great. And these are my homemade pickled onions, which are amazing, by the way. You have to pickle onions. They're red onions. They are magical. I love them and I'm obsessed with them. But yeah, it just seems to be more of a thing and I absolutely love it. And it's a hobby that I'm actually getting into. Yeah, I absolutely love it. Halloween. You guys go really hard on Halloween. Now, obviously I live in the middle of nowhere, so I don't have any neighbors to like come and knock on my door trick-or-treating. But I was walking around the store the other day and I could not figure out why there was so much candy everywhere. And I was like, what is going on? Why is there just chocolate everywhere, all in like fun size? And then it twigged that I was like, oh, it must be Halloween soon. And yeah, like, you guys go real hard on Halloween. In the UK, it's not that big a thing. Like, there are some people that really love Halloween and they get all excited for it. But, like, from my experience, trick-or-treating isn't really that big a thing in the UK. And also, yeah, just Halloween in general is not that big a thing. Like, we'll carve pumpkins and that's kind of it, really. Maybe watch a horror film. But, yeah. You guys here go real hard on Halloween, and it's slightly peculiar coming from a Brit who's never really been into celebrating Halloween. Recycling. The recycling here is done very differently to how it was done for us back home. Now, I don't know in Canada if it's like the UK where different councils or RMs do it differently, but in the UK, where I lived, you got given different coloured bags, plastic bags, which is which is so ironic. And then they moved to plastic boxes that you reused, which is a bit better. But yeah, basically you divided up all your recycling and you left it at the end of your driveway, and it would be collected by the council's garbage trucks. And which sounds ideal. You think, oh great, but the trucks filled up too quickly. So sometimes it didn't get collected. And then the week after you had too much rubbish, so they wouldn't take it because it was too full, which always I thought was really backwards. Yeah, and other times when the trucks were too full, they ended up strewing like garbage all over the roads and you ended up with rats everywhere. It was just nasty and it was just really ineffective. And a lot of the time people would say, well, I have too much recycling, so I'm just going to hide my other recycling in the normal bin and it just goes into landfill, which is so backwards, and it's just, it doesn't make sense. And I always hated the recycling system where I lived back in the UK. Whereas here in Canada, there's a very different system, and I absolutely love this system. Again, I don't know if this is the same for all areas of Canada, but in Saskatchewan, where I live, I'm not entirely sure, but I believe when you purchase cans or like plastic bottles, you pay like a tax on them. But you keep those, you wash them and you keep them, and then you take them to a recycling plant and they sort it all out and you get that money back. And I love this, and it's the best motivator to go recycling, because once you've taken it back and you get your money back, they put cold hard cash in your hand. It's not like a bank transfer or like a coupon, it's actual cash. And I love it. I think it's so great, and it means I'm actually super motivated to recycle, which is really important, you know? And yeah, I absolutely love it. I think it's the best thing ever. And recycling day is a good day, and then we end up with cash, like I said, and I think it's such a better system. And as a result, we are really, really hot on recycling now, because we know if you throw a can away, you're costing yourself money. And yeah, and I think it's great. I absolutely love it. Here's 3 more unexpected things I've encountered since moving to Canada. Bacon. The bacon here is insane. It is so good. Like, it's so good that I actively have to like walk quickly past the bacon section in the grocery store, because I'm like, don't make eye contact, pretend it's not there, otherwise I'll buy it. I'm gonna get so fat eating all this bacon. You guys understand how bacon should be. Bacon should be streaky. It should have plenty of fat on it, because it's bacon. You know, I'm not eating it for my health here. I'm eating it because it tastes good. And it should be thick. It shouldn't be wafer thin cut. It should be of decent thickness. And you guys seem to get that. And the UK just doesn't. Like, I've had pieces of bacon, and this is back bacon, by the way. Have a little Google. It's tragic. I hate it. I've had pieces of bacon in the UK that were so thin I could actually see through them. Like, that's not right. That's not okay. But you guys just get it, and I'm obsessed with bacon, and I absolutely love it here. It's so delicious. I don't know what you guys are curing in it, but it's so, so, so good. Yeah, I love it. The sheer lack of traffic. Now, I'm sure there's going to be people in the comment section of this saying, oh, it's not like that where I live in some city. I'm talking about rural Saskatchewan here. Like, this is about as rural as it gets, okay? And I remember we were driving to town one day. It was on Labor Day weekend. And we said, oh, it's super busy today. We saw 6 cars. That's how quiet the roads are around here. I haven't sat in any traffic since we got here. Whereas in the UK, you want to go anywhere, it's traffic. You want to go to the middle of nowhere, you still got to sit in traffic to get there. It's insane how much traffic there is in the UK. Whereas compared to here, I could genuinely go and sit in the middle of the highway. I'm not going to, because that would be stupid, but it's that quiet, you genuinely could get away with doing that. Don't do that though, that's really stupid. But yeah, like, the lack of traffic is something that I still can't get used to, you know, and you're just driving and you're like, oh, look, there's a car. If you'd had that in the UK, you'd be there going, is this road closed? Why is there no traffic? Where is everybody? Whereas here in Canada, it's just like, oh, it's just a quiet day. Manners. The manners in this country are very different to what I'm used to in the UK. What I mean by manners is that you guys are quite formal when it comes to addressing people. You know, if you walk into a shop, you're always addressed as sir or ma'am. The same way I know that a lot of kids around my area, they'll refer to an adult as ma'am or sir, you know, as well, because they don't refer to you as your adult name, which really throws me because I'm there like looking for the adult that they're referring to and I'm like, oh shit, that's me. And I absolutely love that. I love the formality, and it's a good level of respect, I find. And, you know, like people will go to shake your hand and they'll look you in the eye and they'll give you a good handshake, and it's so refreshing because I do feel that British manners are somewhat going downhill, particularly with kids and stuff. So it's so refreshing to see how the manners are so different in this country.